55 Zeiss 1.8. Welcome to episode 2 of my must-have Sony prime lenses. This is the Sony Zeiss 55 1.8. I will quickly touch base as to why I've chosen this one over the much cheaper 50 1.8. This is the most expensive 1.8 prime that Sony do. I think it's the most expensive 1.8 prime available for any Sony camera. Right now this one comes in at £700, which I think is on offer in the UK, and around $950 in the US. It's not cheap. It's difficult to class this as a budget lens, but there's one reason for this. This is the sharpest lens out there. To my knowledge, there isn't anything sharper. Now, as I say, there is a 50mm 1.8 available in native Sony. It's quite cheap, around £180, $200. That is one of the cheapest Sony prime lenses, but it isn't very good. Now, the nifty 50 is a lens that Canon and Nikon have had available for their systems for a long time. They're very cheap, sometimes under £100, under $100, and they're generally very, very good. Sony's 50 1.8 is their own version of a nifty 50, if you will, but it's nearly triple the price in places. And it's just terrible. It is cheap, but it doesn't come anywhere near as good as this. But it's a bit of an insult to cheap prime lenses, to be honest. Picture quality isn't that good. It's not a very sharp lens, but the main thing that lets it down is the focus. The focus system is so bad. In average to medium light, I've used it in an average lit room, and it's terrible. It's hunting for focus. It can't find what you're trying to focus on, which is obviously no good, even if just a walkabout lens, but let alone in any sort of professional environment. I then try to use it when it gets dark, any outdoor nighttime shots. First dance, just forget about it. It will not focus. It's really quite bad. So forgetting that one, this is why I bring you the 55 1.8. The build quality is the first thing you'll notice. It's extremely well made. It's a very lovely finish to it. The 28mm that we reviewed in episode 1 is a great build, but you can just feel this is much more substantial. It's a little bit bigger, but not that much bigger. It just feels lovely in the hand. I'll take the lens hood off so you can get an actual idea of the size of the lens. It's very small. As you can see, looking at the front and again at the back, very much like the 28mm f2. It's very similar, very simple. It's a nice clean design. It is heavier, coming in at, but it's still a very lightweight lens. The focus ring is super smooth, exactly what you'd expect and what you'd hope for. The autofocus is exceptional, as all of these lenses are, to be honest. With these primes in particular, I've picked ones that perform extremely well in all conditions with autofocus. It just needs to do its job. I tend to use this 55 sparingly, especially with regards to weddings. It's a great mid-range portrait lens, and it does produce stunning results. You probably already know that, and if you're watching this video, it's because you're interested in one. When it comes to wedding photography, I tend to use this more once the bulk of the day is done, or once the speeches are finished, and if I have been using a zoom, I can put that away. I generally tend to get more creative, especially in the summer and autumn months. After the speeches, the sun's starting to go down. I do like to do a lot of off-camera flash, and if you've seen my other videos, you'll already be able to tell that, and this is no different. But this, if I've got the space to get back, I will use this in a sort of wide-angle fashion, and it gives it a real unique look to the picture. I do sometimes use it a little bit for prep, but it is something that comes out later on. I do like to use it on first dance as well. Again, with low light, the autofocus is superb. At 1.8, it's super sharp. You do get some stunning results. That's enough of me talking about this lens. You just want to see what it can do. I've taken some stunning images over the last 6 months, and I've got a few I just want to show you. Let's go and take a look. Starting off, just a quick shot of the shoes and flowers that I sometimes get during preparation. You see the bokeh on that is absolutely beautiful, super sharp. Into the evening shots, as I say, I like to get some lovely shots when the sun's gone down. This was a softbox off to their front left. Again, super sharp across the frame. Another one where I managed to get back a little bit. This was a camping wedding, I suppose you'd say. But again, super sharp. That's at 100% there. Stunningly sharp. I do love how good this lens is. Another shot where it's getting dark and I've put a backlight and AD200 behind them. Again, the rendition of these images, right, 100% there you can see. Another backlit shot as the sun's going down. This was a nice summer wedding. And again at 100%, the look of it is so lovely. This is more about the capabilities of the A7 III. This was nearly dark. This was November. You'll see as I zoom in now, it's a bit noisy, but that was nearly pitch black and it come out and focused lovely. Some first dance shots for you now. Again, super sharp, beautiful bokeh. You can see on the lights in the background there. Bit of smoke machine from the DJ. The groom was more focused on this one, but again, lovely focus. And it was actually really dark in there. Now this was dark, using the AD200 with the bulb mode just to give a bit of light, and then flash as a single light, but it was pitch black in that area we were there. Bit of fun with some cigars. It went black and white on this one because the groom ears lit up, as you can see there in this shot. But again, super sharp, and focusing in the dark wasn't an issue. Now this is one of my favourite shots from last year. There's a little bit of chromatic aberration, I think, on the stand there in purple, you can see. But other than that, it's just beautiful. This one was my favourite shot from last year, I think. Just on a personal level, the composition, I was able to stand back with the 55, but even zoomed in there, you can see the raindrops lit up from the backlight flash. And I've done nothing to these images other than colour correction. So in summary, is this any good? Of course it is. It's a superb lens, extremely well built, super sharp across the whole frame. The only real negative, if I'm being picky, is you sometimes get cat's eyes in the bokeh. It's not a massive problem for me, and again, for clients, they wouldn't even notice it. They just see the great results. Let me just pop it on camera so you can see exactly what it looks like when it's ready to go. And there we have it. As I was saying earlier, it's really not much bigger than the 28mm f2. It's just about discreet enough to get away with using it in all conditions, using it in the public. It kind of just looks like a slightly bigger lens on an average camera. One of the main things I love about the Sony range is they are so small and light. This one's a little bit heavier, but still well balanced enough to use on the A7 III. That's one thing I like about this system. You can be really discreet with it. So is it a perfect lens? No, but it's nearly perfect. There's a little bit of vignetting around the edges, especially at 1.8, but most lenses have that, and it's quite easily overcome in Lightroom or Photoshop. In the end, it's very well balanced, lightweight, super sharp across the frame, extremely well built, and it's not distracting to others. If you want something discreet, this is a lovely lens to have. With the other two lenses in this series, it doesn't get used as much as I'd like to use it. Having a 28 and an 85, I tend to use those two on the two camera bodies during a wedding, but I do get this lens out. It is just that little bit extra special when you're looking for something to make a difference. This gives you a totally different look. Obviously, when it comes to budget primes, this isn't really a budget prime, but when you want a 50mm and you want to keep it small and sharp, this is the one to go for. It's always going to be in my kit bag. Again, it's one that I will never sell. It is the most expensive 1.8 on the market, but you're paying for the sharpest Sony prime there is out there at the moment. Thanks again for watching this second episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out episode 1 if you haven't seen it, about the 28mm. We have episode 3 coming about the 85mm any day now, so do like and subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell notification if you want to be kept notified of any future videos. The Zeiss 55 1.8. This really is a great lens. Catch you next time.